XIlyana again. I'm back. So I am an environmentalist, LGBTQIA icon, human rights advocate. I'm a musician, I guess, and fashion beauty model. But to put on lipstick, excuse me. I am terrible at this. It's supposed to be nice and slow and sensual. And here I am, just like coloring my lips. Slightly making them larger. I don't know how. Like big lips, big juicy lips. Who wants that? Mm. There we go. See? You can be beautiful too. Having self-confidence is difficult when you have PTSD from military sexual trauma, but not impossible. On my lips, on my lips. Mm. I suppose this will have to do. I'm not exactly feeling my 100% based, but I would hop back on, continue my discussion about this, the pollution that we have here in America, globally, but as many people say, talk about where you are instead of where you'd rather be, because I'd rather be anywhere but living in America. I don't get this. I I don't get this country. I don't get this lifestyle. I used to. I don't know. It made sense. It made sense to live in a world of Happy Meals and I don't know, monster truck rallies. Now I live in a world where you say Happy Meal might cost you your health. And this is what happens when everyone says, I want the big, big truck with all the petrol you can fill it with. But just as much as you go to your local station to get a refill, you have to go as far as your own driveway to refill your lungs with this, with this. Scrape that off my solar panels for those who are joining me a little late. The sort of it is everywhere. That's sad. That's really sad. Oh, that that's life in America. I give you bliss. Mm, mm. Hey, babe. Thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate that. I am Portuguese by descent. I was born here in America, but that doesn't stop me from literally be half white. Half white. Father was white, and that means that my skin is a little bit lighter. Just a little. Don't have quite the melanin. Also, I don't go outside because I have PTSD from military sexual trauma, so I can't create more of it because I don't go outside. So, thank you for the compliment on my complexion, and thank you for your compliment on the very weird way that I speak, which is not English, not American, it's not Australian, not even Scottish. I just speak Ian, whatever that is. Either way, uh, I had a very interesting day after the last podcast. I do as I always do. Straight into fapping. So I'm trying to fap, and I come across a shirtless man who, for the life of me, will not show penis. I don't know why. But anyway, he really thinks that people want to hear him talk, and maybe some people do. He says that he's been affected by the floods here in America. Instantly, as an environmentalist, as a humanitarian, and as someone who was staring at his naked chest covered in tattoos, I was enraptured. I listened to this man tell his story about how he's in the middle of two straight and a creek. Now, normally his property is in between those two streets, but with the flooding, it oversaturated his property. Now, if you live outside of a rural area, you say, "Oh, that's terrible," but it'll dry out, right? I mean, you didn't have anything in it. I mean, why would you put anything in your backyard? That's fucking ridiculous. Oh, wait, you did. Because he goes on to say that because of the flood, where, his house was maybe 2.5 feet below the street, or 1.5 foot above the creek. That flood comes through, that flood, it, it just says, here is the normal river, and then let's make it wider. Let's make it higher too. And normally that isn't a problem. 7 months ago, this man, who I assume had to have lived in Texas or the South for long enough that you would recognize it floods there. It really does. I don't know why. I don't know why, but people have selective memories when it comes to natural disasters. People in Tornado Alley say, God damn, those tornadoes in the trailer park. But they don't say, yeah, and it'll come back. So maybe batten down the hatches this time. Maybe move. Nah, nobody does that. Instead, people double down in the wrong ways. So this man, he doubled down. Oh, I'm gonna read some of your comments. Hey, babe. Oh my God, I'm sorry about the military trauma. Oh my God, it's such a massive issue that people don't talk about enough. I have to address that. I really do. And thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Military sexual trauma doesn't just affect the veteran, it affects the entire family. My family lost me. They lost me. When I came back from military service, I couldn't speak. I I couldn't connect. I couldn't do anything. See, my United States Air Force didn't just sexually abuse me. They sexually abused me pretty much on the day that my mother died. Pretty much. So when I exit the service after being sexually abused by Master Sergeant Miranda of the United States Air Force, I come home to my mother's funeral. And my family needed me. My father did not want me to see him cry, but he cried a lot. He cried a lot. My sister cried, but she tried to hug me, and I just couldn't handle it. I had to leave my own mother's funeral because I have PTSD from military sexual trauma. That's what America did to me. That's what America did to me. Now, instead of radicalizing me against it, it just makes me want to hug the fuck out of you fuckers. So let me go back to my story about how America doesn't just fuck over veterans. This man who lived in, I guess, somewhere in where the floods were happening, knew that floods would happen. So 7 months prior to the flood, he built a septic tank. What could go wrong? It's a septic tank. What the fuck could go wrong? Okay, so the flood goes through the creek. The creek widens and raises. The septic tank held on for as long as it could. But then that seal broke, and guess what? That septic tank backed up. Only way it could go. There was no other space for it. His entire property was saturated with water. His house didn't have any water into it, but now it does. So that septic tank backed up directly into his house. $3,700 worth of damage. But America has always said, well, that's Texas problem. Texas, Texas with its state rights. Texas, you don't need any help, do you? Do you need any help? Okay, yeah, you need help. This man needs help. So this man who is shirtless won't show me his penis. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I'm literally on a sex cam going like, dude, like everybody else got their fucking cock out, and for some reason you don't. And then I hear his story about uh, how his life has been ruined by a septic tank. Don't make me laugh at this. Don't make me laugh at this. His life has been ruined by this septic tank backflow into his house, shit in his house, and now he's on sex cams. Lovely fitted tattoo daddy. Who probably wouldn't be on a sex cam if it didn't have to pay to have his house de-shitted. I don't even know what's the word. What's the word? Depoopified? This American citizen has to get on a fucking sex cam, wank his penis, do dildo ass play, like all of that, pay for a septic tank repair. Like, what the fuck? I am trying to. I am trying to like. I wish I had fucking taken down his name. Like I visited the guy like several times. I'm like, dude, I feel for you because it's not just him. He has like one or two dogs, I think, and this dog is like so cute, so adorable, and it's that dog has to be like, you missed a spot. Like, dude, like the dog would like put its head on his thigh and say like, dude, like you totally missed the spot. Like, could you like I have a dog nose, like I know what the spot is. Like I know you're on camera right now. I know you I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. But seriously, in that corner right there, there's like half a turn. Like there's a Komodo dragon tail in that corner, dude. Like I don't know why you can't smell it because I mean my dog nose is like super strong. But that's a huge fucking Komodo dragon tail, like right in the corner there. Can you not even see that? I mean, I know I see black and white. I'm a dog, whatever. But I smell that shit. Like, could you go get that? And he's like, oh, here's, thank you. Just petting the dog. And I'm like, your dog is trying to tell you something, dude. Your dog is trying to tell you something. Either way, wow. This is what America has come to. This is what America has come to. But nobody wants to talk about this. No, nobody wants to talk about how America thrives in the sex trade, but almost they're being forced into. Yeah, for sure. Damn. Okay, I thought I had the jokes. You are funny. Wow. But it's real. This is a real man's life. Like you're an American citizen. You should be able to go to FEMA and say, hey, it's an emergency. The whole state flooded pretty much. Well, anywhere that really mattered. I need help. You should be able to go to your government and say, I need help. And it shouldn't even be a FEMA thing. It should just be a human being thing. It should be a, you know, it's not my property, but could I help you redig a new one? This is why, I don't have a problem talking about being a socialist. I don't have a problem talking about how I'm anti-capitalist. There's no reason why I wouldn't talk about that. I would always talk about that because this is where money just doesn't make sense. If you think that this man's little shit show that he's doing on the internet is none of your business, none of your business, because you have money and you could afford $3,700 for a septic tank. Please, I pay that for the salon. Whatever. If you have that kind of attitude, just keep in mind that when that river finally receded, where do you think the rest of it went? Because the majority of it probably went into this man's house. But where did the rest of it go? Hmm? Pop quiz, everyone. Where did that shit go from his septic tank? Did it go into the river? The river that people maybe fish from, the river that people jump in on occasion, the river that, they sometimes pull water from, feeds into their little aquifers that they use on neighboring properties. Yeah, that's where it goes. So it's more than just a one man problem. But somehow in America, we say, fuck you, dude, to that poor man. Capitalism is wonderful when it works for you. When it doesn't work for you, it fucks over more than just you. There should be no money, no questions asked. That is a statewide public health emergency, because if he had a septic tank, how many of his neighbors had septic tanks? Do the math, people. Everybody in that whole entire county should be getting off their fucking asses and say, you know what, FEMA, fuck you. Guess what? I'm going to have to repair this person's septic tank and then that person's septic tank, and then we're all going to have to just take turns helping each other. This is why when the United States Air Force Master Sergeant Lozano had the balls to fucking talk to me about, hey, you need to, be more selfish. He didn't exactly say that. He said to me, you're the only one with your bed unmade. And I had to explain to him, I was following Air Force procedure, Master Sergeant Lozano, where if there are an odd number of people, you form a group. Why? Because I was thinking to myself, if there is an unmade bed, guess what, bitch? I'm gonna move that other bitch over and I'm gonna sleep in his bed right next to his dumbass. That's what I'm gonna do. Fuck the whole bed thing. Fuck you with your individual bed thing. What the fuck do you think you're doing? You're gonna fucking talk to me about, well, you didn't make your own bed. It's like, I made everybody else's bed. And guess what? If I am fucking cold at night, guess what? I'm gonna go to him and I'm gonna say, dude, did I not make your bed for you? All right, I did, right? Okay, then hand the covers over, dear, because we're gonna cuddle tonight. That is my attitude. So fuck you, Master Sergeant Lozano. Fuck you for that. I'm gonna read your comments. Sorry, I didn't. Elijah, I don't know how to help you. I mean, I could read you some poetry, but I can accept Jesus in my heart when I have Jesus in my hole. If Hollywood would send me script, then I might accept the role. Act like my ass was on fire just to slide down Oliver's pole. Anyway, it's heartbreaking the level of houseless people alone in America. I full believe humans are meant to live in communities, not isolated in toxic societies, but communities where they serve a real purpose for the whole. Hey, Bay, I want to give you nothing but kudos and love for saying that. We used to live as tribes, and yeah, the tribes were people who just looked like you. They look like you, they smell like you, and most likely they're related to you. But somehow we got this idea, we'll just spread out. We'll spread out, we'll leave, we'll abandon our fucking communities. It's like, fuck you, Dad. I'm moving to fucking California. Guess what? You leave half your family behind that way. Either way, maybe you form a new community. Maybe you form a circle of fucking friends and friends that you did fuck. Maybe that's where your life leads you. But the whole idea of you live surrounded by people and they'll always be strangers to you just doesn't really work out. So proud of you. You sound so strong, and I love your energy. I'm not strong in the slightest. I cry like a fucking baby. I cry like a little bit because I've been sexually abused by the American government. I have nightmares. I woke up from a nightmare today. I was convulsing in my sleep with the violence of it. But the Department of Veteran Affairs won't give me my disability benefit. So that's where I am. Hey, babe, thank you so much for coming by. Feel free to like, subscribe. I always welcome new people. Welcome to the revolution. Have a good day. Joseph, how are you? What is up? What is up indeed? What is up indeed? I'm relaying this story of what I can only refer to as daddy doing anal for dollars on camera because his septic tank was over flooded by the recent natural disaster. So yeah, that's just a horrific fucking story of just American greed and capitalism. What's up, good? I hope you're doing better. I'm not doing better. I'm actually doing worse. I still have PTSD, and going outside is just traumatic for me. Every fucking day is it's trauma, trauma, trauma. I can't believe, what are the fires. Yeah, in California we have fires here. We have wildfires, and it didn't really occur to me until this last batch of them that I had to say, you know what? I think there's something wrong with California. I think I need to do a podcast about there's something wrong with California. So I did. And the smog, the pollution, the chemical warfare against poor people, it affects everything. And this story that I have about this man who's affected by natural disasters is a story for everyone. You don't think of yourself as living in a natural disaster. You don't think of yourself that way, but this is a disaster. And there's nothing natural about it, but it's a disaster because this is what your lungs look like because you live in an industrialized country. You got some blue stuff on your mouth. You know what? You are absolutely right. And I don't think I have enough. It looks like I need to fix that. Thank you so much. Let me fix that for you. I love my fans because they always remind me. Look at that. I have to stay like this in order to not get that. So it's gonna be like really awful. Thank you. Thank you so much for the reminder to fix my makeup. That one corner I cannot do. All right, there we go. There we go. Get lipstick on your teeth that way. Fuck me. Ah, Joseph, I'm going to read your comment there. Okay. They need to put their tax dollars into their infrastructure and fighting wildfires and not having their veterans struggle. Joseph, I appreciate your comment. That's not good enough. I love shows like 911, mostly because I get to stare at my favorite fireman ever, Buck. But I like Eddie and I like Henrietta and I like Angela Bassett in anything she does. And I love Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's like the perfect cast. Either way, I appreciate shows like that because it shows their heroism, it shows their bravery, it shows that it takes so much to be a hero, but you should be a hero. Buck it has to deal with so much adversity because he's the type of person who acts first, thinks second later, but he saves lives. I mean, the man has been shot at, the man has been electrocuted, he had to deal with so much, so much, and I stopped watching the show. It's clear that I stopped watching the show. Wow. Um, and constantly has to come up against, people telling him, you could choose a different life. You could choose a different life. You're young. Do something else. Do anything else with your life. But he says, "This is what I want to do," and that's what he does. And which is why I say he's my favorite character. And he's still handsome too. He's played by such a handsome person. Either way, it's not good enough to just say put tax dollars into infrastructure. It goes beyond that. What people don't understand about the problems with capitalism is the problem with capitalism is that there's a dollar value on human life. There's a dollar value on public health. There's a dollar value on public safety. You see something inherently wrong with that? A dollar value on repairing fire equipment for the LAFD. You put a dollar amount on making sure that the fire trucks have enough supplies to fight a forest fire in an emergency. You have that in your budget. You think of it as a budget instead of it needs to be done at any cost. And what is the real cost? What is the real cost? I'm just curious. We talk about our tax dollars. Our tax dollars are not going to anything anymore. When you get in your cars and you take a bridge, you know what they do? They stop you before you go onto that bridge, mostly because they want to check your license plate, which is a lovely thing that they can do now. And say, aha, I knew you've been cheating on your wife. By the way, your girlfriend has a girlfriend. Huh? Scandal. Either way, they stop you at the bridge before you go on it, and they say, "Please, sir, may I have $1 or $2 or $10? You can take this bridge." And you say, "Well, I mean, to go home, so I'll take the bridge. So therefore, here's my money." Where does that money go? Where does that money go? Okay, because that money doesn't seem to be going to those bridges because those bridges look old as fuck. The money doesn't seem to be going to the roads because the roads are in such disrepair. So where is that money going? Your tax dollars, where does it go? They talk about David Copperfield being one of the greatest magicians. David Blaine is a good magician. I don't know what kind of magic they do in Washington, but they sprinkle something on your American dollars that just make it vanish. Where does that money go? Because it doesn't go to anything in America, but when it does show up, it shows up in Ukraine in the form of, here's some airplanes, here's some personnel, here's some ordnance for you so you can fight your war. And I do support Ukraine. But couldn't you support Ukraine while supporting America? Couldn't you support AIDS in Africa while still supporting America? I don't know what goes on in a politician's mind. What goes on with Congress that they can just ratify every single bill for foreign aid, but anything to do with domestic aid, they just say, we ran out of money. Oh, Veterans Day? I know you're starving. I know veterans should never starve. Here's what we'll do. On Veterans Day, you can go to Applebee's and you can get a meal of your choice from a select menu. See? See? Take it, you dumb fox. I love Applebee's. It's delicious food. I used to go and get my veteran meal as a veteran and as a serviceman, which was really odd. I guess it was foretelling. Perfect. You look fabulous. Thank you, Unknown. I love that. Keep the compliments coming. There shouldn't be that because those are people's lives. There should be no dollar value on a human life or soul. And yet there is. Yet there is. Oh, I love YouTube because YouTube knows that I'm a medical professional who should be a credentialed doctor through medical school. But the Department of Veteran Affairs refuses to pay my tuition. Therefore, I'm not going to medical school. I'm just stuck here in this ghetto talking to you on YouTube. But it does like to show me St. Jude, all these diseased kids and their parents crying. I don't think Hunter's dad really had to dig deep to find those tears as he's describing how he would like maybe some more time with this kid. And I'm screaming at the fucking YouTube video because I say, there are solutions. There are solutions, or there are many research avenues that you could take to maybe solve whatever the issue is. But I'm not that particular person's doctor. I'm not anybody's doctor. I'm just some person on YouTube wearing blue lipstick. Thank you so much, America. Thank you so much, America, for denying me the ability to help people in my own country. Just like you deny helping your own people by giving foreign aid, but no domestic aid. If you took the amount of foreign aid that you give and actually paid veterans, maybe the country would be a better place. Because veterans, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just simple common sense. They care about the country even though the country has done terrible things to them. Why? Because they live here. And why would you live in a country that is not at its best at all times? Oh, okay, I'm gonna read you Joseph. Yeah, but I just what I'm saying is it should be going to saving lives, preventing accidents, and keeping us safe, like first in our communities. That's all. I mean, they're dumping money. Where? Where? Okay, where? Like, bitch, makeup? Where? Where's this? Where's your tax money go? Where does your tax money go? Because I know that Congress is bring us up. Nobody wants to do that. Like, nobody young and hip wants to do that. But because nobody young and cool wants to do that, you get fucked over. They reach into your wallet, they reach into your bedroom, they reach into your refrigerator, and they tell you what to do. And in a case of women, they literally reach up your skirt and say, whether or not you can wear white after Labor Day if you had an abortion. So, where does your tax money go then? Someone explain that to me. Where? A Department of Defense. Really? Okay, you explain to me how hospitals get hacked with your Air Force cyber defense or your Navy cyber defense. You explain to me how the biological terrorist event, which was COVID-19, made it through our borders, spread throughout our land. Explain that to me. Oh, that's right. Chemical, biological, radiological, electrical. You're trained in that, right? Because you're military, you're trained in that. But somehow a threat of that magnitude right over their heads. And the CDC, years, years. You don't know because you're not an epidemiologist, but I am. So there are conferences that they have worldwide of if there is a pandemic, what are the steps that you do to maintain safety and make sure I really am a fast speaker. Make sure that you have a way to identify the virus and come up with a vaccine. COVID happens right over their heads. These people have been billing the American citizens for hotel room service, adult films while in the hotel room, champagne for that hotel room. But when an actual disaster happened, what did the CDC do? They didn't have a clue. I love this. I love this. I love this because finally you can say the CDC does not care about you. The FEMA doesn't care about you. The American government doesn't care about you. You know who cares about you? So what we have to do as individuals is learn to wake up. Wake up and speak to as many people as you can. Hop on YouTube. Speak your mind. It may be slow, it may be disheartening to try and speak to a bunch of people on YouTube. But if I can reach one person to say pollution is an issue and the way that we operate our justice system is also an issue, because every single politician that participated in the dismantling of America through COVID should be on trial. Where are the fucking COVID conferences? Why is no one going to Washington to take them to task for this? During this flood, no one is going to Washington and say, you need to fix all of this. And maybe they should stop. Maybe they should stop going to Washington for anything. I live in California. And as much as I dislike California, at least California is very honest about where it's going. California is slowly becoming a different country. There is the East, and then there's California. And California is its own country. States' rights, I guess, is the best way to put it, because you never really want to say that you're seceding from the United States, because that really never works out well. But economically, they kind of are. Why you got Smurf lips? Mini Forest Spirit. That's actually a fucking good question. And yes, I did vote for Trump. And the reason why I voted for Trump is because he has lived in a world with all of us. Not everything he does is appropriate, but guess what? It does help people. It really does. President grab him by the pussy has done you a favor. Huge favor. Because he exposes the truth about the media and the Gestapo we have here in the United States. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So you may say, grab them by the pussy with your friends, but how many of them are really your friends? He did you a favor. I disagree with his statement, but he did you a favor. Because now you can say, either I have to watch what I say or I have to stop giving a fuck and letting people use that against me. Timothy, I'm sorry I didn't get your message. Hey, buddy, you're still. I don't know how to. Hi, I'm from. Hey, hi, Grind. Welcome to the channel and thank you for the subscription. This thing again. What's going on here, Sean Mullen? Hello again. Okay, so your lips explain perfectly why you voted for Trump. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. I wanted you to say that so badly. Okay. Trump got rid of the exact environmental protections that you were rooting for COVID. Congrats. You know why I'm happy that he did that? Why I'm happy that President Trump is dismantling pretty much everything in the government? Because people gave up control over their own lives. They gave up control of their own communities, their families, their kids, everything to America, to an America so that they could live their lives in ignorance, absolute ignorance. The EPA should never have been formed. Never. It's a bastard of a fucking agency. Why? Because there were people who were stewards of the fucking forest, of the fucking land. It was us, the indigenous people who were here by our own birthright. But instead of letting us be ourselves, instead of allowing our culture to flourish, instead of all of that, they just hand you some car keys and make you so exhausted that you eat their fucking American food while your hair falls out and your health fails. And everything in your body is telling you that you used to fucking speak to trees, you used to chatter away, running through the woods, hunting deer, boars, and you used to sit on the fucking floor and have a meal with your friends. But instead of that, you play Call of Duty, a bunch of strangers. And I don't want to shit on fucking Call of Duty. I really don't. Or you play Fortnite. Those are fucking great games. Great games. It's not the same exact thing as a person who is Native American, indigenous, being allowed to be Native American, indigenous. LGBAL-CH. Please, this is the most gay thing I generally see on AYT. See on a YouTube. Please use your words. But more importantly, you just have no idea how gay I can be. I can be very gay. Would you like me to be very gay? Because if you'd like me to be very gay, then let me know if you'd like to maybe own one of my autographed piss stain jock straps. That's right, I will sell piss stain jock straps. These are very, very hard to say, but you know, it's a lot of words in your mouth. If you'd like to taste my piss stain jock straps, please let me know if you would like to purchase any of my jock straps. I'm sorry, is that gay enough for you? Femboy Jungle, did you get your benefits? I can only stop for a second today. No, I'm still waiting on word back from them. And honestly, it's not just about the money, okay? Because the money isn't the same exact thing as having a country you can be proud of, a country that is going to be there for you in a natural disaster or an emergency like a pandemic. Where is that? Show me anywhere where money is going to protect you from that. Money won't protect you from that. Maybe some empathy would. Maybe some leadership would. Real leadership. Why is so rich? Why so rich? Are you going to start paying your portion? I pay in orgasms. Would you like an orgasm? Mine are very expensive. Semen stain jock straps cost extra, but they are very worth it. My seed is very potent. It has power. If you'd like to taste my power by purchasing one of my semen stained jock straps, please let me know if you would like to purchase one. I'll have that available to you, but only to my deserving fans. Slay Queen. Oh, I wish I was fabulous. Like, honestly, all I can afford is fucking lipstick. I can't afford to beat my face. I mean, you see the bags under my eyes. I'm exhausted. I mean, it takes money to be a fucking queen. It really does. And normally I wear my fucking tiara, but I can't even afford that because it's just fucking oh so expensive. I totally understand you are entitled to them. Sorry, I can't stay today. I tried what you said with weed, and it was very different. Thank you so much for taking my advice on that. More people need to take your advice. Give that advice to someone else who needs to hear that, because marijuana is wonderful, but you need to learn how to have it in the right way. Femboy, thank you so much. I'm going to change gears from talking about pollution because nobody wants to hear the fact that the lungs look like this. Nobody wants to hear that. So let's talk about weed again. Okay. People who use marijuana need to use it the right way. You need to have a spirit guide who teaches you how to use psychoactive drugs. You need someone who is an expert in it. You need someone to tell you that you have to be at the right frequency in order to receive the messages from the divine plant. Okay, somebody needs some attention here. Mini Forest Spirit. I think you just checked out because you didn't hear the entire rant that I did of I agree with Trump dismantling the EPA. Why? I'll tell you. The EPA is a shallow, heartless organization of people who do photo op with their cleanup efforts, but really don't do anything. Why? Because they've been waiting. EPA has been waiting for the people to join the fight to protect them. The environmentalists and the EPA have always been, we'll hold up a sign. Oh, save the whales, save the whales. Oh my God, dolphins, save the dolphins. But they hold that sign up alone. You don't pick up that sign. Why would you pick up that sign? You have the EPA. The EPA will fucking handle it. The EPA didn't handle it. When exactly did the EPA handle it? Hmm? You tell me. You tell me. So by Trump removing the EPA, he says to anyone who's paying attention, handle that shit yourself. I am offended by this. Offended by this. So you know what I have to do? Even with my PTSD, I have to find strength, the strength to take myself to City Hall and speak in public comment about the level of pollution in this county. But I have PTSD, and these people keep triggering my PTSD. So good luck finding the strength to do that. How are they shallow when they're helping the environment? You know what would help the environment? If people didn't have to use cars. If people were, I'm sorry, not as ignorant and realized that their life would improve if they could either walk to work or live where they work, or maybe just change their job. I play Xbox, and Xbox has so many games. It has Claire, Obscura, Expedition 33, and this game is incredibly, incredibly depressing. If you just want a reason to just cry, you play that game. And the game is really depressing because you look at all of furniture, the pianos, the trumpet, just left behind because nobody wants to play music anymore. Nobody really wants to learn how to do that. They don't see that as a way to live your life, not earn money, just live your life. And just say, I'm the person who plays the trombone, and let that be your life. And then one time I restarted the game. I restarted the game because I said, I think I missed something. And I did. I missed a lot. And that's why I love video games more than television sometimes. Because in television, if you didn't get it the first time, I don't know, you just really weren't paying attention. But with video games, you can go through things again and say, well, what if I went this way? And what kind of conversation would I have? And it wasn't even a conversation. It was a bakery in this video game, and it was closed. And it got to me. It really got to me because when was the last time any of us went to a baker? No, not the bakery department of a supermarket. Someone who says, I bake for a living. I bake, that's who I am. I have a store of just bakery goods. And that's what I do. These are my recipes. I hope you enjoy them. Who goes to that? That used to be something that was a part of your life, your weekly life. You want bread, you go to the baker. And now nobody does that anymore. We're above it. We're above bread that was made lovingly by hand and not just something that was on an assembly line and then shoved in a box and then delivered to you. That's that's what makes me sad. All right, let me get back to some of these. My wife's the real EPA, if you know what I mean. I do know what you mean, you dirty dog, you. Okay, how are they shallow when they're helping the environment? Who is going to stop these corporations from dumping their chemicals into the ocean? Oh, bitch, you? How about you? How about you? How about you? How about you? You live on this earth, you live on this planet. What, you got shit to do? Hmm? Half of you just watch reruns of television, so you don't even watch the shows live. You're so busy doing other things, or another YouTube video won't exist unless you watch a YouTube video. Okay. Okay. Why don't you use any of that time to actually fight these corporations? Why don't you use any of that time? By fight, I mean stop buying their products. Stop. That's the only thing they understand. Because Americans don't seem to understand no means no when I tell them I will not speak to another female after being sexually abused. But they do know stop. So I stopped all commerce that isn't vitally essential with American companies until they solve pretty much everything. Everything from environmental issues to transgender rights. If you disrespect me in this country, you lost a customer. That's all. So defunding the EPA but not replacing it with anything helpful is the right decision. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mini forest spirit. I have to be able to tell you the truth. The EPA does not have the resources or the capability in any incarnation to handle the majority of the issues that they have. There was a battery factory fire recently in my area. That's not an EPA thing. That's a you live in this neighborhood. Do you know what's in your neighborhood? Do you know every single business that's in your neighborhood? Do you know every factory that's in your neighborhood? Do you ask questions of them and say, "Hey, is your stuff up to code?" Also, You're not using that factory anymore. What you going to do with all that stuff? Hmm? Are you storing it correctly? Shouldn't I ask these questions? Shouldn't you ask questions? You want to turn to the EPA and say, EPA, watch everything, take care of everything. And they say, hey, we have limited people, we have limited budgets, and nobody really cares. When Texas, by the way, I cannot have enough of this story. This story is just too juicy. And by juicy, I mean the idea of a man building a septic tank 7 months before it gets flooded and therefore floods his house with the contents of his own septic tank is, I don't know, somewhat poetic. I feel sorry for this man, but I also want to say, how did you not see this coming? Did you not go through the last flood? Did you not have an inspector come survey your property in order to sell you that property and explain to you, you're below the water level? You're below the water level. If the water rises, it will rise over you. Do you still want to buy this property? And he goes, yeah. Where is the consumer protection there? Where is the consumer protection there? Where is anyone to explain to people, you know what, you can live there, but you can't live in that? I hope Trump stops defunding education so you can get an education. You're funny. You are absolutely funny. Mini Forest Spirit, I invite you to my channel. You are, you know what? You are more than happy. I'm gonna give you a little fucking gift for that. Please enjoy. Please enjoy. You get to have a special badge of honor because if you think that the American people get an education from the American education system, you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. They learn more from fucking YouTube and the History Channel and movies than they will ever learn from your fucking American education system. The only thing that they learn from your American education system is bulimia. That's right. Two fingers in your mouth if you want to get someone to let you suck their dick under the bleachers. That's right. That's what you learn in America. You don't learn home economics anymore. You don't really learn shop anymore. You don't really learn foreign languages anymore. You don't learn civics anymore. You don't learn common decency. Things that should be taught in your fucking schools, and you don't learn any of it. But you want to tell me that, oh, well, I can't wait for Trump to defund education. You bet. You bet. Guess what? Your American education system was always defunded. It's always been defunded. It never received enough money. Why? Because you don't want American people to be smart. Because when they're smart, they have conversations like this, you shallow hoe. They have conversations about environmentalism and civic pride, things that are more American than just saying, I'll have some fries with that, you cunt. Yes, America has an obesity problem, but you saying this bullshit? That's right. I say this bullshit. And if you want to say this bullshit, guess what? Pick up your fucking cell phone and show your beautiful face on camera. Why the fuck are you here when you can have your own fucking show? This is my channel. Welcome. Okay, I do take you seriously, Mini Forest. I will call you a cunt, but I will take you seriously. If they don't learn anything, then why do you want to go to medical school? Because I'm a Native American person, because I'm an indigenous person, I have a unique perspective, a unique approach to medicine. But that doesn't discount some of the technology and some of the medical advancements that Western medicine has. If you're at the level of doctorate, maybe your schooling is a little bit better, but it's still incomplete. Doctors are taught in America treat the illness, not the symptoms. Never find out what the cause is. Never ask too many questions. Don't report if you see a cluster event or you see a bunch of people with the same symptoms in an area. Don't call the federal government to investigate it or the local government to investigate it because that'd be a waste of your time. That's what you're taught in medical school. That's how they treat most of us. So when we present with asthma, hair loss, rare blood diseases, and we don't ask questions about what chemicals were floating around in that time period, then no, I guess I'm just not that kind of doctor. I could never be that kind of doctor. I'm the type of person who says, I don't just want to cure one person, I want to cure everybody. By the way, you shouldn't make me moderator because I'm going to piss you off with my comments. MAGA tend to get pissed off by facts. When you actually present a fact, I will be more than happy to examine it. But if you talk out of your fucking ass, guess what? I'm going to have fun with that and just school you because you don't know what you're talking about. If you did, maybe we would have a different conversation. And maybe it's just because I just want to disagree with you. But I think deep down you must know I have a point. What are you learning in an American high school besides drugs are cool, but don't get caught by your parents? Have sex often if you want to be popular, but don't get pregnant because if you get pregnant, then you're going to be even more popular because now they know you put out. So, what are we being taught in high school? I mean, what are we being taught? Are we being taught that we should bully people who are different and then act real surprised when they come back later with machine guns to fucking kill all of you? Because that's something we're being taught in America right now. But oh, what was that? You wanted to laugh and say that Trump should defund schools? I wish a bitch would. Because if that means that kids in America would know at least 1 year without being gunned down by some madman, I think that would be kind of worth it. If they could live without that fear, if they could learn to maybe finish their fucking homework, give them harder homework, require them to, because schools are closed fucking forever. Maybe things would be different. Maybe America would be a different place if instead of saying go to high school, they said you're hot, you're popular, go be a fucking actress, go be on fucking YouTube, let that be your life, study what you want on the side, and just capitalize on your fucking beauty while you're beautiful. No guidance counselor says that. Why? Because they say, you want to be a veterinarian. Oh my God, that's so lovely. Oh, you want to be a dentist? Oh, you must have gone to Southwest Dress then. The night is dark and full of terror. Chemistry. Okay, I'm looking for people like you though. Trump doesn't give a shit about LGBT. LGBT doesn't give a shit about LGBT. Where have you been? There is no one who hates the LGBT more than the LGBT. True. They complain about straight people denying them the right to use a bathroom. But when transgender people were beginning to rise up and show their authentic selves, where was the gay community to say, you can be in our bars, you can be in our club, you're one of us, pretty much. You're an oppressed person at the very least. No. You know what? You know what the gay clubs did? They would take a transgender person and they would just toss them out of their ass because finally they had the upper hand. Bullies, absolute bullies. So, yeah, Trump not appreciating LGBT, I'm cool with that. Why? Because at least that's honest. At least that's honest. Chemistry, biology, math are a basic necessity for medical school. In medical school, you need those building blocks. So you live in a world where you say someone who knows chemistry, which is a component for going to medical school and being a part of medical school, is important. Are you sure you shouldn't be talking to the bakers? Are you sure you shouldn't be talking to the farmers about the biology of the food that goes into the systems of these people who become future patients? Because that's what I would do. Guns are what MAGA support. LOL, you're a Democrat, you hate guns. You don't know this channel then. I support guns. I support guns for everyone, including felons. Why? Because protection is an American right. Protection is an American right. The right to bear arms. The right to bear arms belongs to everyone. Why? Because the night is dark and full of terrors. So clutch your babies to your chest. For the night is dark and full of terrors. The LGBTQ got a whole month under Trump, buddy. They're thriving. Am I right, XIlyana? Unknown. Unknown. Thank you for that lovely statement. Just like veterans get 2 days, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, where America says, oh, there you are. Pride Month has been the biggest blight on our fucking culture. And they don't see it that way. They don't see it that way because to most LGBTQIA people, it's a month of party. It's not a month of remembering the Stonewall riots. It's not a month of remembering the Orlando shootings that they had. It's not a month of remembering Matthew Shepard or many transgender people who are murdered every single day for walking down the street. So Yeah, Pride Month is a joke, and we let it be a joke. I no offense to Lizzo and Kim Petras for performing at the LA Pride. And I heard that Fergie was doing the New York Pride, which I'm so upset because I would have gone to see Fergie, obviously. I'm a huge Fergie fan. The Duchess, come on, I would rather see the Duchess. Either way, I'm not mad at them for performing in these contests, but it doesn't mean anything to people if they just see it as a concert and that they don't see it as look around you. We are hunted. We are absolutely hunted, ostracized, discriminated against, vilified every chance they can get. These are our people. We chose these people over family, friends. This is our community. Instead of having that epiphany, people say, oh my God, this song is fire. So, yeah, I don't celebrate Pride. I don't. I did my Pride album for this year, but I don't celebrate it because where is the history? Where is the lesson to be learned? I just don't. I don't see the pride in Pride. Okay, let me get back to some of this. Yes, chemistry and biology. LOL, I voted a Democrat last time and own guns. Panox Mandala. Panox Mandala, the whole gun issue, gun control, all of it, it's not that complex. Do you need to protect yourself? Yes. If someone breaks into your house, did you fucking fire? Absolutely. Shoot that motherfucker in his face if he breaks into your fucking house. If you're about to be raped or have your life taken away from you, fucking fire away. That is your right. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Because we live in a society where we love to watch people on a screen beat the living shit out of other people. But when it comes to our own life, we're like, now, nobody wants to fight anymore. Nobody wants to fight physically and nobody wants to fight mentally. And that's what's wrong. Unfortunately, when the United States Air Force sexually abused me, they forgot the fact that I've had years of martial arts training. So I'm a fighter, and you can't just sexually abuse that out of me. I just fight a little differently now. Yes, chemistry and biology are necessity to medical school. If you can understand that, I don't know what to tell you. Go back to high school, maybe. Maybe I should go back to fucking high school as a fucking teacher. Maybe I should join Glee. Maybe there should be a fucking Glee revival. Hello? Yes, the way it commercialized itself is definitely sickening and sad to see how it is being managed now. Mandala. You can't expect people to change their ways overnight. You can't expect people to understand what is going on. I went to the Santa Monica Pride one year. I guess it was 2 years ago at this point, and it was a great, great performance. Like the songs were actually really, really good. I don't remember their fucking names. I'm sorry, but I like the music. And right after the song, they went straight into some political thing, and I checked the fuck out and I walked out, which is terrible because I mean, technically, that's what Pride is supposed to be. Hey, come for the music, stay for the revolution. Because the revolution is, yeah, you need to stick with your own people. You need to fight to stick with your own people. You need to be able to say to something like West Hollywood, you need to have more housing. You need to have more free housing. You need to have an whole block of, we are a refugee zone for transgender people and gays and lesbians, because I live in Los Angeles. I've been gay bashed twice, twice, because I live in a Latino ghetto. In a Latino ghetto, which is really odd because you're called Latin X now. You're so fucking woke. You call yourself Latin X, but any transgender person who walks down the street is gay bashed, called a fag, punched and kicked. Hell right, fight for your right. Unknown, it's not just fight for your right, fight for everyone's right. I might be by myself on this, but I say to people who are cisgender and, say, I don't want a fucking transgender person pulling out their abnormally large cock in front or in a stall next to my young child. Well, guess what? I support that too. I support parents who say, I don't want anyone near my fucking children. That is what it means to be a parent. I support that. I know how transgender people are all up in arms about, oh, I couldn't piss. Wait for I want to know right now, who will I be? But those cisgender people are doing you a favor because, honey, you were so fucking fat. Every time you go to one of these restaurants and they give you food, and yes, you have to run to the bathroom right afterwards, that should probably tell you that the food wasn't good to begin with. So do yourself a favor and learn to cook. That's right, bitch. Learn to fucking cook. Actually agree with you on so many levels about the Second Amendment issue. I think free will and willpower is so important. Pride has changed so much, I don't want to support it anymore either. Mandala, you can support your community in a different way. If you want to support Pride, don't just go to a Pride event. Don't pay top dollar to go see a concert during a Pride event. Go support gay artists. Go support struggling gay artists. Kim Petras is not a struggling gay artist. She's not a struggling transgender artist. She's not a struggling anything anymore. She's just an artist. She doesn't need your money. You should always pay her, but she doesn't need your money. You know who needs your money? The gay, lesbian, transgender people on Highland Avenue. Or is it Street? Highland? Whatever. Hollywood has plenty of fucking gay, lesbian, transgender, homeless people who are strumming a guitar, singing rather well, and with their shirt off, and Spike Lee is watching them, and no one tipped. No one tipped. That's it. You're all getting banned if no one tipped. Right. People forgot their purpose or what was it about in the first place. I'm sorry that happened to you getting bashed. I know exactly how you feel and doesn't feel good. So yeah, defending nothing wrong, defending yourself. It's a little bit more complicated. I wish I could just say, guns for everybody, guns for you, guns for you. No, I wish it were that simple. I think we really have to evaluate what we consider a community. I said it in the previous podcast, I didn't get to say it here, but I'm going to continue that thread of something is going on in Europe. Something is going on in Europe. Something is definitely going on in Ireland because Ireland has a housing crisis. So therefore, no one can afford housing. So You're all poor. For I be so impoverished, I have to look at large black penis of many different sizes and shapes and angles too. That is how things are going in Ireland right now. You're welcome. Uh, Angus is getting his first taste of what the BBC really means. Thank goodness to Ireland finally saying, you know what, our property's actually worth something. But it's good. I hate community project based housing, but to a certain degree, that's what Ireland is doing. That Ireland has figured out that they didn't really fare well in the Industrial Revolution, and they're not really faring well in this current one because they're at a crossroads. They feel so much pride for their land that they don't want to bulldoze over what is Irish perfection. Perfection to look at Ireland. So they don't want to bulldoze over that and pave over that just to build a person a house. At the same exact time, there's no reason why they have to live in squalor. And if I get my disability benefits and as the new energy consultant for Scotland, change.org/Scotland new grid, I would use my ambassadorship to all of Europe in order to solve the housing crisis for them by redesigning their community housing. I live in Albuquerque, so I have dealt with two home invasions at two separate places. Then a couple of years later, seven of my teeth knocked out for looking too friendly. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that because everything that you're talking about is entirely preventable. It's entirely preventable, and you should never have to go through that again. Never. It takes so little to try and put your life back together to where it should be if it wasn't derailed every chance America can get. But we don't want to talk to each other. We don't want to collaborate with each other. I say to myself with some pride that I own my own transgender restaurant with a customer of one. Because as a transgender restaurant, I cater only to transgender people. And what am I going to do? Tell everyone to unzip and pull their dicks out and do the helicopter dick in order to prove that they're of the transgender variety? No. So I just cook for myself in the majesty of the cage that the government has provided for me. And I mean cage because I am a canary in a coal mine, and well, I guess you see how that's going. So I wasn't always for guns. I used to be very anti-gun. It hits different when it happens to you. It's definitely a complicated subject. If someone has a knife and hurting people, do you let them keep the knife or take the knife away? Same with guns. That's simple. Look at the country where the police only have bats and no weapons. Yeah, they get shot. Uh, London and the United Kingdom, with their policy of, we don't do guns. Why would we have guns? They get shot, which is sad. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm taking charge now. I got my life back together after all this happening. I love living life and live like there's no tomorrow. So I count my blessings. I cook. Yeah, yeah. This is one of the major reasons why I want my disability benefits, because I don't have a lot of joy in my life. I really don't. But when I'm preparing a meal, I pour all my love, all my heart into preparing the meal, even if it's just for myself. I take it as a special event. I just wish I could feed myself more often. Yes, but the death rate is significantly lower than the USA because of that. It's not because of that. It's because of the fact that people in Europe learn to, for the most part, be happy. I said it earlier of, I was using my remote viewing powers, and I was in an Irish pub in Dublin, and there was a waitress there, and seating was already taken up. And you know what people did? They just sat down on the street, and the waitress just brings them their pints there. And guess what? They're happy there. Why? Because they're surrounded by all their mates, and they're laughing, they're having a great time. Not every day is going to be that, but they're more community minded in Europe than here, where America just says, can we do everything in our power to make sure that black and white people never talk to each other again? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. That's the attitude that they have here. You got to keep them separated for the offspring. Both races will be destroyed. So they say. And maybe that's technically a good thing, because I don't know about you, but I have a petition, change.org/GeneGreyTech. That is change.org/GeneGreyTech. It's a genetic hospital which I would like to build, because I've noticed a disturbing trend of irradiation and weakening of the DNA strand of a certain segment of the population, which I would like to repair. So change.org/GeneGreyTech. So I can build a genetic hospital to repair the DNA sequences of a certain population. Because they do really wacky things like move to climates where they don't belong. But nobody tells them that, because nobody is aware that they have a genetic heritage which says you can live at this latitude, but it shouldn't live at this latitude. Nobody says that, because, we are that advanced, but we refuse to acknowledge the fact that we're an advanced civilization. So nobody says that. They should. They really should. They're turning the frogs gay. No, but they are turning men into women. That that is beyond transgender. That's a CDC level event. Men are turning into women, and women are turning into men. What is in your food in America? What is in your air? What is in your water that causes opposing sex hormones to surge through your body? Because it just isn't psychic trauma like being raped or sexually abused by the American government. It goes beyond that. My teas have hit rock bottom, I can confirm. Same here. Same here. It doesn't help that my PTSD keeps my testosterone level low. Every time that they do that, they suppress my testosterone. Cortisol fights your dominant sex hormone. They don't talk about that. Shouldn't they talk about that? Shouldn't you be made aware of that before you, I don't know, do anything in life that's highly stressful? Shouldn't your doctor be talking to you about that? They don't. So here we are. That's life. That's life in America. You know, we ignore medical facts. We ignore trends. I mean, I support the transgender community. Live your truth, but is it your truth if it's forced upon you because of the food you eat, because of the water being contaminated? I mean, you can't go backwards because the damage has been done. But shouldn't you at least know if that's why? Oh, I've got to go. Remember, your lips blue because I am not a Democrat. You're weird. You want to rely on the government for disability, are gay, and want to go to school. Everything Trump is against. I don't think I'm a Democrat. I think I'm a socialist. I really am. I believe in a government and a people by the people for the people. I believe in a barter system. I believe in trade for trade as opposed to trade for money because money doesn't seem to ever really solve anything. I'll get my disability benefits, but I'm going to have to trade that money for something useful, like a land grant, so I can start a farm or a commune. Hmm. Things I might consider because I just know that I don't want to live in LA. LA is not my vibe. LA is not my vibe. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. Thank you everyone for coming in today. I want to appreciate all of you. Unknown, you have won 125 XP. You might level up soon. Mini Forest Spirit, as mean as you are, I know that you like Ghibli. So 100 experience points to you. Uh, Hey Bay is 75. Femboy at 75. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So glad all of you are leveling up. I want to thank everyone for coming in today. My name is XIlyana. I look forward to seeing you on my next podcast. See you.